Good morning. Why don't you start today with the scripture for the first 300 seconds? If you still believe you are too busy to study the Bible, many people depend on their life based on the calendar or their telephone or whatever influence they are getting it. Uh, Hebrew But Hebrews chapter 1 and says, in the past, God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets at many times in various ways. But in last days, He has spoken to us by His Son, whom He appointed heirs of all things, and through whom also He made the universe. The Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of His being, sustaining all things by His powerful word. After he had provided purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty in heaven. So he became as much superior to the angels as the name he has inherited is superior to theirs. We are living in a world busy, as we all agree, but we have a lot of excuses. And so even this week, and we have a lot of excuses as a first long weekend. Some people say, "Oh, every long weekend we have is time for travel, or time for rest, or time for something else." And I open up the calendar and see when is Easter, when is Christmas, and when is Sunday, and how I will spend time with my children and my beloved members of the church and friends on the day of the Lord. At least more than 52 times for this year 2024. But some other people said how many times we get away and run away from work because of these many holidays. But I want you to think about these holidays as holy days. Then your life will be much more different because based on your observance on these holidays, and you make your life is different, uh, contribute to your time different, meaning holy. And holy is a unique words many people of faith use, as holy is not just a religious. That's a misunderstanding. Holy is a different than any other. So how much different? Different something from earth, from the heaven. So you can use the time to make money and then chasing for power and connection and social uh, influence, but you could use the time to give and to give things away and share things away, share your love, share your time and talent and treasure. That'll be how you use your time wisely and wholly. I'm not talking about 365 days you need to just give away, but why don't you give maybe a tenth of your time and talent and treasure? And you try to learn from Jesus Christ mentioned here in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1. Interestingly, the Christians were heavily influenced by tradition at the time, tradition developed by Jewish authority in those days, as we perhaps know, antiquity of these days, and long and great and strong traditions developed by many Jewish leaders in those days. Sadducees, Pharisees, and all kind of leaders that we learn from the Bible. And Jesus struggled with influence made by teachers of the law. Jesus has a more problem with teachers of the Lord, interestingly, than multitude that are surrounded uh, by them. So Hebrews might be good scripture you could begin this year. In the past, God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets at many times in various ways. You may have so many things that cause you to follow, or cause you to drop, cause you to make a difference. But in these last days, God has spoken to us using present, past, uh, rather than just simple or past, by His Son. And God, appointed Jesus as the heirs of all things, and through Him, He made even the universe. Whether you still are not yet ready to accept and believe this teaching, you may just want to continue to hear this. The Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of His being, and sustaining all things by His powerful words. With His word, because He said so, because He asked you to love your enemy and pray for those who persecute you. You may see and start today in a different way. So I just let me just wrap this up. 5 minutes. Can you give 5 minutes? I am giving 5 minutes with the scripture this morning. Reminded by this again. So I depend on so many things. Growing up in a farming country, not here in USA, on the other side of the Pacific, and then farming calendar wake us up, and rooster wake us up in those situations. And if you are a little behind each day, and then people in the town will yell at you, and then you are lazy, you will be born like a cow. What does that mean? You will be born um, like a cow. Uh, has a lot of a background story related to like Hinduism and Buddhism in ancient society in Korea. And then because you never get uh, diligent, and then they thought you will be born again when you have a chance to live again, and then you will work like a cow every day in the morning from the beginning to the end of the day, till the land and help all the farmers to carry fertilizers and everything. Even at moment of harvest, everyone celebrate, but you need to be loaded a lot of stuff to bring it to the marketplaces. And then when you get tired, still you have to give up your body for the meat. So many people enjoy your body as a meat. In that community, depended on everything uh, based on the farmer's calendar tells you do the something. And many people I see depended on holiday calendars. Some people depend on a Pacific calendar. Oh well, here in United States of America, every single day has something. Not only 10 federal holidays you can count, there are so many days you celebrate with. Well, why don't you put a Christian calendar in front of you? I know Jewish friends and other people has their own calendar, but Christian calendar, I would say, a Christ time for the church that shape you to grow through the means of grace. Some smart Methodists may say that, hey, pastor, don't you know we have a quadrilateral? Yes, we have a traditions by which we learn what we can do based on what the church has shaped you. The church shaped you. The ecclesiology shaped you. Then some people say, no, I am smart enough to figure that out. What is important? Scripture and tradition and other thing. I trust my reasons. My mind tells me what to do. Yes, that has a long history from Ancient Greek thinkers, one of them tried to say the human mind is a measurement of everything. Yes, you measure what is good, what is bad, what need to be good thing to do, what it be the running away from. But then if you become a measurement of everything, and then you depended on your own five senses or your own mind. So how unstable or how dangerous it can be. Because one person could dominate everything else or everyone else in the community or at home. You may have good enough experience. So I'm saying tradition helps. In this case, tradition and culture that you grew up with, your town, your country, or your nations develop some sort of norms. Is that saving or helpful? Then experience. Some people say that I just want to do what my mind said, what my heart goes. Many cases, this happens when we make social relations, particularly marriages. People say, well, if you love your spouse, you make a decision, but it's up to you. And often, uh, not only just women or brides, and even grooms are told, just you can say yes or no based on what you want, particularly when you have more than one options to go. And then it's a really difficult to make a decision, but I don't feels I love you. How would you really reconcile those different opinions? So scripture gives some good guideline as we read the Hebrews. In the past, God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets, messengers, at many times in various ways. But in this last day, He has spoken to us by His Son. So I rather go with what the Scripture says. Think like Jesus and react like a Jesus and live like Him and serve like Him and love like Him. For that, you may eh, keep using at least 5 minutes a day or each day with the scripture. The scripture was talking toward the Son of God came to us. Let's get back to our work. God bless.